Good morning, and welcome to the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. With the always evolving world of cyber threats and defense, you need a source you can trust. FBI retired Special Agent Darren Mott guides you through today's intricate cyber landscape and brings you the latest headlines and insights and what it means to you. Let's dive into today's cyber news.
Good morning, friends. It is Monday, February 24th, 2025. This is the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. And as always, I thank you for taking the time to download and listen. I apologize to my friends in Europe who listen to this podcast on a morning basis. I didn't have it out early this morning for a variety of reasons. You don't want to hear my excuses. I have some, but I'm not going to bore you with them. Just know I was late and I apologize. I will try to do better, but I am going to roll on here with some news because there was a big crypto heist over the weekend, the largest ever. And we'll talk about how those bad guys are then laundering that money, plus a couple other things, hopefully of interest to you. I picked them because they're of interest to me, and so hopefully they will be of interest to you. And as always, if you have thoughts or comments, you can email me, find me on LinkedIn, do the things. And if you like what you hear, if you're learning from what you hear, if you think it's valuable to others, share it or subscribe or leave us a 5-star review or a 4-star review or a 3-star review. Be honest, however you think. I am not that hit by criticism. Actually, I prefer it. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know. I would like to know. But this is from Wired.com. This is Andy Greenberg and Lily Hay Newman reporting. $1.4 billion stolen from Bybit in the biggest crypto theft ever. Running a cryptocurrency exchange is risky business, as hacking victims like Mt. Gox, Bitfinex, FTX, and plenty of others can attest, but never has a platform for buying and selling crypto lost a 10-figure dollar sum in a single heist. That new record belongs to Bybit, which on Friday revealed that thieves hacked its Ethereum-based holdings. The hackers made off with a sum that totals $1.4 billion, according to an estimate by cryptocurrency tracing firm Elliptic, the biggest crypto theft of all time by some measures. Bybit CEO Ben Zhao wrote on X that the hackers had used a Musk transaction, likely a misspelling of masked transaction, to trick the exchange into cryptographically signing a change in the code of the smart contract controlling a wallet holding its stockpile of Ethereum. Quote, "Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure," Zhao wrote, suggesting the exchange remains solvent. All withdrawals are normal. Zhao later added in another note on X that the exchange would be able to cover the loss, which, if true, suggests that no users will lose their funds. The theft dwarfs other historic hacks of crypto exchanges, which lost large sums of cryptocurrency worth hundreds of millions of dollars after the thefts were discovered. Even the stolen loot from the 2016 Bitfinex heist, which was worth close to $4.5 billion at the time the thieves were identified, and the majority of the funds were recovered in 2022. It took them 6 years, but they recovered it, so thumbs up to them. And it was worth only $72 million at the time. Bybit's $1.4 billion is, by that measure, the far bigger loss, and considering that all crypto thefts in 2024 totaled $2.2 billion, according to the blockchain analysis firm Chainalysis, a stunning new benchmark in crypto crime. And I'll be honest, how exactly they did it, I can't tell you, other than if you are involved in cryptocurrency, you trade it, you buy it, you sell it, whatever you do with it, make sure you're offloading it off the platforms into cold storage where you have control over it. Now, how exactly this happened is not really mentioned here, and it's attributed to the Lazarus Group, the North Korean hacking group, and this money is used to help fund that regime. If it was a basic criminal group that did it, I would say if I was that criminal group, I would retire at that point with $1.4 billion. But what do I know? I'm not a criminal, so they'll probably continue on. Why? Because there's always more money. So this is, again, a warning to those who think cryptocurrency transactions are secure. There are ways to get around it. And if you keep your money in warm or hot storage, meaning you store it on the service you purchase it from, it could be stolen. Along those lines, this is from... Apologies, I'm sneezing in the middle of this. This is from cybernews.com. Linus Kamaliauskas reporting, Bybit hackers move to meme coins to launder their funds and scam people. After the largest heist in cryptocurrency, hackers of the Bybit exchange are reportedly trying to use meme coins to launder portions of their stolen funds, meaning they want to move it somewhere so it's harder to find and trace back. Blockchain observers claim that the Lazarus Group, the North Korean state-sponsored hacking group associated with the Bybit hack, is using Pump.Fun, a popular meme coin launched on the Solana blockchain, to launder the stolen fund. Remember, they stole it from the Ethereum blockchain, and they're trying to launder it through other blockchains. Multiple reports allege that Lazarus sent 50 Solanas coins, or $8,000, to a wallet that launched the Kwai Shi Wong token, which soon after reached $3 million in market capitalization and almost $44 million in trading volume in 24 hours. Quote, by luring real liquidity from pump fund users, they mixed stolen funds with legitimate market activity, making detection harder. Once enough liquidity was secured, they dumped the tokens, cashed out, and fragmented funds across multiple wallets. While the volume is relatively small compared to the stolen funds, which are worth more than $1 billion, commenters estimate that this might be only a test and the market will see similar attempts from Lazarus. There are so many different blockchains and different coins. They could launder all of this through any of them, and ultimately it would never be recovered. There have been instances in the past where cryptocurrency wallets were compromised and the cryptocurrency stolen, but the exchange was able to claw back some of that money. This is a way that they're trying to prevent that. However, it seems Lazarus hackers are no strangers to meme coins. Zach XBT, the independent blockchain detective who won a bounty with his investigation partner by providing proof that Lazarus is behind the Bybit hack, says that the same hackers might be behind multiple meme coin launches on Pump Fun as well. And then there's kind of more to the story. It's a pretty short story, but as always, the article is listed in this podcast or in the show notes if you want to look at them. But again, it goes to show you have to be careful with dealing with cryptocurrency, because the bad guys know where the money is and they will find it. And blockchain technology is simply an algorithm that is programmed by programmers, and there's vulnerabilities and ways to get around it, as we've seen over the last several years as the Lazarus Group hacks all of these places and gets tons of money from it. So make sure you offload all of your cryptocurrency onto cold storage. I did it using a small little USB drive designed specifically for cryptocurrency. I actually, about a year ago, I think I liquidated all my cryptocurrency before it started rising. So I think I still made money overall in the scheme of the couple years I owned it. But for me, this is just me personally, it's not worth dealing in cryptocurrency simply because I just don't have enough money to invest in it to kind of mess around with it. And so I don't do that. But if that's something you do, that's great. I'm hoping to have a cryptocurrency expert on the Cyber Guy podcast here in the near future. And he tracks these bad guys, and we can hopefully talk a little bit about how they do it, what they're doing. And he even says your cold storage wallet can be at risk. So hopefully we can talk about that. But again, look for that on the Cyber Guy podcast coming up in the next month or so as we kind of get our schedules wrapped around each other. So bleepingcomputer.com, Sergey Gatlin, Black Basta ransomware gang's internal chat logs leak online. This is from the, oh no, you hate to see it file, but actually you love to see it because it's good when bad guys have their issues resolved or known to the public. An unknown leaker has released what they claim to be an archive of internal matrix chat logs belonging to the Black Basta ransomware operation. Exploit Whispers, the individual who previously uploaded the stolen messages to the mega file sharing platform, which sadly are now removed because I would have gone and grabbed them if I had seen it earlier. But he has uploaded to a dedicated Telegram channel. So maybe I need to go find where that is and get that. So if anyone follows this more closely than I do, send it to me and I'll go see if I can download it and take a look at it. But it's not clear yet if Exploit Whisperers is a security researcher who gained access to the gang's internal chat server or a disgruntled member. And that's going to be it. The only way to get this is through insider access, which kind of highlights that even though we talk about having a good insider threat program for companies, bad guys need to do it too, and they're not very smart in a lot of cases. But anyway, while they never shared the reason behind the move, the cyber threat intelligence company ProDaft said that the leak could directly result from the ransomware gang's alleged attacks targeting Russian banks. And that is where these bad guys go wrong. Don't mess with the Russian stuff because the Russians get ticked and they will use their security services to go find you, which again, it's bad guy on bad guy crime is not really a bad thing for me, but what do I say? On February 11th, a major leak exposed Black Basta's internal matrix chat logs. The leaker claimed they released the data because the group was targeting Russian banks. Apparently that's a problem for them. But anyway, the leak closely resembles the previous Conti leaks. The leak archive contained messages exchanged in Black Bass's internal chat rooms between September 18th, 2023 and September 28th, 2024. So a year's worth of information. Who is Black Bass? They're a ransomware as a service operation that started in April 2022, has claimed many high-profile victims worldwide, including healthcare companies and government contractors. And then lists some of their victims if you want to see that. Probably most notable here in the U.S. is the healthcare giant Ascension was hit, as well as the American Dental Association and a bunch of other stuff. As CISA and the FBI revealed in a joint report issued last May, Black Basta affiliates reached over 500 organizations between April 2022 and May 2024. In February 2022, a Ukrainian security researcher also leaked over 770,000 internal chat conversations in source code for the Conti ransomware encryptor online after the infamous Russian-based Conti cybercrime syndicate sided with Russia following Ukraine's invasion. And this kind of shows how everything kind of ties together from a geopolitical perspective when it comes to wars and things like that. So expect more of this going forward because let's be honest, I mean, bad guys are good at what they do, but operational security is not necessarily a thing they really pay a lot of attention to. SCmedia.com, Sean Nichols, HealthNet pays $11.2 million to settle claims over false cybersecurity certifications. A U.S. healthcare provider was fined by the federal government for lying about its cybersecurity qualifications. And this should be a headline for all companies that decide that they're going to say they do certain things cybersecurity wise, and yet they don't. The U.S. Department of Justice, that was my own add in there. The U.S. Department of Justice said that HealthNet Federal Services, LLC, and Centene Corporation will pay a combined $11.2 million to settle the allegations. The case stems from allegations that HealthNet and its subsidiaries took on contracts to handle the health records of service members and veterans without having the proper protections in place to protect that information from outside attackers between the years 2015 and 2018. And my guess is probably not much going forward. So this is an important thing to note. If you are a company that maintains personal identifiable information, you need to protect it so that it does not get compromised, and then you have all sorts of issues from both a criminal and civil liability perspective. Now, if these companies are able to pay $11.2 million to settle the claims that they didn't do the right things, how much would it have cost them to do the right things at the front end? I'm going to guess not $11.2 million. So ask yourself, if you're a business, are you doing the right things? If not, find support from someone who can help you at least identify what you are and are not doing. Because chances are you're not doing the basics. And if you're not doing the basics, bad things can happen. From helpnetsecurity.com, Zalisha Zor is reporting account takeover detection. There's no single tell. So we talk a lot about account takeovers, right? I've said before that at this point in time, hackers don't hack into accounts. They log into accounts because they have legitimate credentials. So from this article, account takeover is one of the most prevalent attack types. I would say probably the most. Proofpoint says that in 2024, 99% of the customer tenants the company monitors were hit with at least one account takeover attempt, and 62% of the customers experienced at least one that was successful. So look, your credentials are out there. And likely, and I have not read all the way through this, but most of these may or may not have multi-factor authentication turned on. But anyway, it does say, though, attackers are not picky about their targets, but organizations in certain industries are more likely to suffer successful account takeover attempts like education, electronics, and aerospace. Businesses in the financial and legal services sectors are expectedly better at fighting off these attempts, but apparently those in the food and beverage industry are as well. Proofpoint has found that of the approximately 63 million accounts they monitored last year, some 3 million were targeted for account compromise, and of those, 17,000 were successfully compromised. Of the 17,000, 65% had multi-factor authentication enabled, but the researchers did not share a breakdown of the MFA options used by those account holders, which would be valuable to know. If you had, because we talk about if you have MFA, you should be safe. Yeah, 65% had it enabled, but still got compromised. Now, having it enabled doesn't mean it was being used. It just means it was enabled to be used. Doesn't mean that they necessarily were using it. FIDO security keys, or a second authentication factor, is, for example, a much safer option than received an authentication code via SMS. And using passkeys prevents any authentication factor from being harvested by phishers or information steal or malware. What they're meaning there is there's ways to clone phones, right? So if you have multi-factor authentication that sends a text to your phone and the bad guy clones your phone, he can very easily get the multi-factor code through SMS because he logs in with your legitimate credentials. The SMS goes to your text message, and then they get in. I get this periodically, especially with, is it my PayPal? One of them I got recently where someone was trying to get into my account, and I got a text message saying there was an effort. But fortunately, I use an authenticator app on my phone, so I'm the only one with access to that. So it's harder for bad guys to get to me because my MFA doesn't necessarily always go to my text message. For all those, no, because not some of them don't offer it. But for those that offer an authentication app like Google Authenticator, then there you go. This is going to be an over 15-minute podcast. Sorry, I got tied up in talking, so it's going to be a little longer than usual. This last one, and then we'll cut it for today. SecurityAffairs.com, Pierluigi Paganini, Australia bans Kaspersky over national security concerns. Australia bans Kaspersky software over national security concerns, citing risks of foreign interference, espionage, and sabotage of government networks. So the U.S. has done this about a year ago. All organizations should avoid Kaspersky Labs. They are sending the information back to Russia. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can stop right there. Kaspersky can say they don't, but they do. Get rid of it right now. Russia is not your friend. With that, I'm going to let you go about your day because it's going to end up being a 16-minute podcast, and I apologize for going over 15. I got sidetracked with all the cryptocurrency news and things like that. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Know that knowledge is protection. If you can understand the threats targeting you, you can assess your risk, proceed wisely. Hopefully on Wednesday, we will be here on time and we will stay under the 15-minute mark. If you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. Email me, find me on LinkedIn if you have thoughts or questions. I look forward to hearing from anyone, and we will see you again on Wednesday.